on the show, Dan. How are you guys doing, both of you?
Oh, good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, look, Matt, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts in going into Newcastle versus Tottenham? Obviously, we just come back from a win versus Nottingham Forest, a lovely 3-1 win, a much needed win, should I add? And we're trying to finish as high as possible in the Champions League race. So, what are your thoughts going into the Newcastle match?
So, in all honesty, at the moment, I'm pretty nervous going into every game. Because as much as I think we've massively improved under Ange Postecoglou, and as much as I'm really happy with the direction the team's going, I still think that we lack consistency. Like the Fulham game, we are liable to have a poor performance. So I am nervous going into every game. I suppose specifically with Newcastle, I do think that their style of football is going to play into our hands and help us. So I do think we struggle most against the low block, and I don't believe Newcastle won't do that. So I do think Newcastle's style of football will suit us. Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful for a win. It would be nice to get a win, but you just don't know, do you?
Exactly, especially with Tottenham right now being very, in my opinion, a bit inconsistent with how we're playing. Dan, what's your thoughts? In general, not because we've never actually spoken to. I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts in general on Tottenham Hotspur this season, and what do you see different in this game that could maybe help Tottenham get that win and get that edge over Newcastle?
I mean, I think, like Matt said, I mean, it's a marked improvement from last year, and even to be honest, since probably I can't remember a season where we performed as well as we have for as long as we have, like throughout the season. Obviously, we had the problem after Chelsea. Before Chelsea, that's the best I've seen a Spurs team since the last season at White Hart Lane. And then obviously we had that chaotic first half hour. And it just feels like it's just been a bit stop-start stints. Like it's kind of not really had consistency in terms of the performances, but also in terms of the personnel. We've not had the same kind of 11 players available to pick from week in, week out since then, really for more than sort of like 2 or 3 weeks because of injuries or suspensions or whatever. I'm slightly different. I'm quite confident about Saturday. I don't know why. I've never seen us lose at Newcastle when I've been up there. I wish I was going now, but I've never seen us lose. I've always seen us win up there. And like Matt said, I just think their style of play, when we play against teams who come out and try and attack you, I think that suits us down to the ground. I really do, because it's just a much more open game. It allows us to move the ball quicker through the thirds. The first half against Nottingham Forest, I mean, obviously we took the lead quite early on, but we just didn't feel like we moved the ball quick enough. And I think if we go down those lines, I think we'll be all right.
I think second half, I mean, to be honest, it's been the same all season. We for whatever reason, we've been a much better team second half,
particularly at home.
Especially at home. But it's been the same all season. Even when we're having a good game, we seem to be better in the second half.
It's just slow starts. I mean, it was characteristic of our team last year. I mean, we were such slow starters.
But we had a good start against Nottingham Forest, and then we had a good start against Nottingham Forest, but then midway through the first half, we lost our way. And then we just had 20 minutes of pressure from them. And then luckily in the second half, we regained it.
I think the midfield changes helped. I feel like the changes with Bentancur and Hojberg pretty much changed the game. I just felt like they were exactly what we needed.
And that's getting on to the next topic. I personally think Hojbjerg and Bentancur should start against Newcastle.
The one out of the two, out of Sarr and Bissouma, I think Sarr's got more of a chance of starting. I mean, it feels like a Sarr. It feels like a game for Sarr because he's so mobile and he can get around. He can get around the pitch way better than Hojberg can. I think Bentancur starts. I do think Bentancur starts. I think it would be Sarr, Bentancur, and Maddison. Maddison's not been great though recently. I mean, I don't think he's been anywhere near as good as what he was pre-Chelsea.
Right. Well, we talked about this in the last video, and I feel like Maddison has been good.
Mm.
Like he hasn't had disastrous performances. He's had good performances. He's been doing okay. But the problem is, by his standards, he's just not where he was.
He set the bar so high. Those first 12 games, he set the bar so high. I mean, I remember watching us in pre-season, and we played against West Ham, and I think we actually lost the game in the end. But we were all over them, and it was all through Maddison. The positions that he was picking up between the opposition midfield and defenders, like. He just hasn't quite found that rhythm again, I don't think, since coming back. And he's not getting full 90 minutes either. I don't know if he's fully fit. I really don't. I just, you look at him and think he doesn't look as sharp as what he did.
No, I completely agree. Like I said the other week, like, I'm not going to lie, if he was playing for Luton, Sheffield United, maybe Wolves, but if he was playing for a team in the bottom half of the table, you'd probably be looking at him going, "Oh, solid performance, right?" Like, he hasn't been playing badly. Unfortunately, he's just been nowhere near as good as he was.
But I think that counts for the whole team, though. And to be fair, you spoke about Sarr and Bissouma before. I think they're the same. I don't think Bissouma's been very good for a long time. I can't remember the last like really good game he had.
The start of the season, Bissouma was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he seems to have fallen off. I think Sarr has been a lot more consistent with his performances. Than Bissouma.
Yeah, I agree.
But Bissouma.
Do you think maybe it's pairings? Do you think that they're paying? Because I had this conversation on the stream with you, I think, last time, and I said to you, I think that personally, Hojberg and Bentancur, when they play, they make themselves look so much better when they're playing together than when Bentancur plays alongside Sarr or when Hojberg plays alongside Sarr. I feel like Hojberg and Bentancur together play so well; they complement each other so well. What are you guys thinking about that, or not really?
Yeah, no, that's possible, and. Yeah, I just think that Newcastle, I'm not going to lie, Sarr could come on with 20 minutes to go. Yeah. And with Sarr's mobility, coming on with 20 minutes to go, that could be a really good addition to just give Newcastle someone else to think about with 20 minutes to go. But I honestly believe Hojbjerg and Bentancur should probably start the Newcastle game.
I agree.
Hojberg was so good when he came on the other day. I thought it was his best game for us for a long time, probably this season. I think he was so good. Even on the ball, though, I mean, usually you kind of expect him to be like the enforcer, screening and throwing challenges in and sort of playing it sideways. But even a couple of passes he played, I think he played one out to Werner the second half, and you were like, where's that come from? Like, where's this passing been? I just think he looked a far better player the other day when he came on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And as a result of that performance, I think it earns him a starting spot on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. I think what's also important for us is that the game kind of suits Hojberg more than Bissouma for me, because with Bissouma, Bissouma is more of a defensive player than Hojberg, and Hojberg going forward is able to express himself much more than what Bissouma is. We saw that with a couple of shots of Hojberg's towards the end of the match. And when Newcastle, like we said earlier in the stream, like you said, Dan, you said that Newcastle were more of an open game, and we all agreed in terms of it's going to be easier kind of to break them down if they're an open team. For me, if I have Hojberg as my 6 alongside, let's say Bentancur and Maddison, it's a much more attacking 3 than a Bissouma, Bentancur and Maddison. Now, I want to ask you lads a question here. Do you think the midfield is the most important position against Newcastle, or is it the wingers? Because Johnson and Werner, let's say hypothetically they start, they could be in a very, very important roles versus Newcastle going on their wingers. So what's the most important position for you versus Newcastle to break them down, do you guys think?
The midfield.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a midfield battle. I mean, it's quite interesting. I don't know what their latest injury update is. I can't really keep up with Newcastle's injury list, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I know that they're missing. Well, they were missing loads of players. I don't know who's back for them. But the wide battle will be interesting. But I do think a lot of it will be done through the middle. I just think the way we play as well, we haven't really been playing with much width, considering how successful we've been. It feels like we could play, like we try and squeeze it through the middle and play intricate passes through the middle to try and overplay. But I just feel like if we've got Werner one side and Johnson the other, I just feel like them against fullbacks at the minute and just getting to the byline and throwing it across the front, like the front of the goal, like in the 6-yard box. I just feel like, I mean, how many goals have we scored from that recently? Well, West Ham and the own goal against Forest came from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We've had the most own goals. We've had the most own goals this season out of anyone.
Is it 5? Yeah, 5, isn't it? I don't think I heard it the other day.
Yeah, I was thinking about this as well. Why do we have
Liverpool have had 4? We've had 5, and
it's because we're passing the ball across that box.
It's so hard to defend. Yeah, so hard to defend. Yeah.
So I've got the Newcastle injury list here.
Oh, brilliant! Go on.
So Sven Botman's out.
It's good.
Okay.
Jamal Lascelles is currently being assessed.
Okay.
Obviously, Tonali's suspended, so he's out. Lewis Miley, Callum Wilson.
He always has a good game against us, Callum Wilson, as well. So that's a good one to be missing.
He's out.
Okay.
Good.
So Wilson's definitely out. Joelinton.
So they'll start Isaac then.
Livramento. Miguel Almiron.
Hold on, Livramento's out as well.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So who's a left back?
I don't know, but Miguel Almiron's out. Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Joseph Willett, and Matt Target.
As Trips is out.
Trips is out. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite an extensive injury list for them.
They've had that a lot this season, though. They had a, mind you, I'm just looking now. I'm trying to see who they played last.
If they're missing Almiron, they're missing Joelinton and missing Callum Wilson. I think that's 3 big players for them to be missing, which I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their midfield. Their midfield from the last game was Willock, Guimaraes, and Longstaff. You'd think we'd have enough. We've got to worry about Guimaraes, really. I like him.
Yeah,
worst player going forward.
Guimaraes is definitely the biggest question mark, the biggest struggle.
I think the fullbacks got to have a good game as well. I think our fullbacks have to.
So, lads,
I know we're worried.
Instagram up. I'm trying to get the live.
What's that, Joshy?
No,
I'm just trying to get the Instagram up as well. So bear with me. So you guys can continue. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
I know I sent it back. I know our wing backs are kind of trusted to go forward a bit more than anything else. But you look at their threats from out wide, and Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, Josh Murphy? Jacob Murphy.
Jacob.
Yeah. They're all right. They're all right down the wings.
Yeah, I mean they've got some decent players. I'd say Anthony Gordon's probably the biggest threat. But
I don't mind Harvey Barnes either. I didn't mind him when he was at Leicester.
I like Harvey Barnes as well. I think Harvey Barnes is decent. But I'd like to think that Porro can deal with them.
It's a lot to do with the centre halves as well. I think a lot of it relies on the centre halves just covering the space and making sure that they're covering the channels.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Van de Ven is Rolls Royce.
Player of the season.
Well, when he's played a full 90 minutes,
We've lost one, haven't we?
We've only lost one game with him playing, and without him, we've lost 6.
I mean, it says a lot, doesn't it? It says a lot. He's just a specimen. I had this conversation with a couple of guys the other day, one Arsenal fan, one Chelsea fan, and they said to me, "Who's the best centre back in the league?" And I said, "Well, I think Van de Ven's got to be in the."
Well, he obviously said
equation.
He obviously said Saliba.
Well, they actually both said Virgil van Dijk straight away, which is okay.
So I said the other day, right, that I reckon in 2 or 3 years' time, people will be talking about Van de Ven the same way that they talk about Van Dijk at the moment.
I don't even think it's going to take that long.
Yeah, well, Van Dijk's still there, isn't he? And that's
still there and still performing. But I just think Van de Ven's just got he's got so much ability.
But that's why I'm saying 2 or 3 years, because in 2 or 3 years you should see the decline of Van Dijk, and hopefully Van de Ven's still at Spurs. Yeah, pray to God he's still at Spurs. I
feel a bit sorry for Dragusin because I don't think he was actually that bad. He got a bad deal of it at Fulham. But I just thought the whole team was shit against Fulham. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't think Dragusin played badly.
He's playing as a right-footed, left-sided centre half, and it's a bit.
Yeah. No, I don't think he played badly. But no, like I just think Van de Ven is fantastic. Like he's so good. Like he's like
Vertonghen with pace. He is actually, when he carries the ball, he looks like Vertonghen. The way he runs, he looks like Vertonghen. But he's got pace, and he's got serious pace. And as soon as you've got a defender that can read the game like he can,
the fastest footballer in the world.
Yeah,
he's literally the fastest footballer in the world.
Yeah,
and he's a centre back. Do you know what I mean?
I think he was against Hudson-Odoi. First half last week, he was against Hudson-Odoi at one point. It was sort of towards the end of the first half, and Hudson-Odoi is no slouch, and there was a ball put over the top, and he covered it, and he didn't even look like he was even trying to get there. Just like almost like half pace.
Mate, the number of times I've seen a ball played over the top.
Yeah.
Right. And they're running from, say, the halfway line. We're playing a high line, ball over the top, and the defender's got like 3 yards on him.
Yeah.
Sorry, the attacker's got like
3 yards. Got 3 yards. Yeah.
The attacker's got 3 yards on him, and by the time he gets to the edge of the penalty area, he's back goal side again.
Yeah. The sort of like moment that I realised how quick he was I was at the League Cup game against Fulham, and he went up against Adama Traore in a foot race in open space down in our corner flag, like right close to us, and he beat him. And I thought, right, okay, this kid's got serious pace to burn.
Adama Traore is rapid.
Well, there was one point where nobody could get anywhere near him. When he was at Wolves, I know he used to Vaseline himself up, and he still does. But he was just unplayable at points for Wolves.
Yeah, like, and Mickey Van de Ven's just like, yeah, easy.
Just brush him aside. Don't worry about
it. Right, Josh just messaged me saying he's restarting his laptop.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was struggling, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Other Josh should be joining soon.
Okay, cool. Where's this stream then? Is it streamed on YouTube live?
Yeah, so we do YouTube, Instagram. So yeah, we do Instagram live sometimes, YouTube.
Okay. I'll have to subscribe to you. How have I not known before now, Matt?
Yeah.
I can't believe it was 13 years ago since that picture.
Mate, 13 years. No, it must. Oh. No, yeah, 13 years.
Yeah, 13 years. 13 years. Because you'd left by that point, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the year after I left.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're able to watch all the games over there, though, aren't you?
Pardon?
You're able to watch more games than what we probably are here.
Yeah. I get every single game.
Yeah.
Every single.
Do you know what? I actually think it helps us the fact that it's a 12:30 kickoff this weekend. By the way.
Yeah. Well, I can't watch it.
Why?
Because I'm taking my parents to Gibraltar to see the monkeys.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Josh wanted us to do a watch along.
Like a live watch along. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh wanted us to do a watch along. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, no problem, because I normally watch every game. And then I suddenly was like, oh no, my parents are visiting and I'm going to be with the monkeys.
Well, look, lads. A bit of a connection from here and there, but you know what? It'll get better.
That's miles better. That's miles better now.
Yeah, this is a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, look. Okay, so we were talking about the midfield as much as I could hear until you talked about your 13 years old picture and all that bullshit. So okay, so we heard all the injury list for Newcastle, and it sounds like it's a proper heavy list. We usually go for a score prediction at the end of the show, but let's go for it now, and we'll continue. We'll continue talking about it now. Before we do, everyone, make sure to smash the subscribe button. And Instagram should be coming up live any second. So guys, smash that subscribe button, drop a like on the video. Dan, kick us off with your score prediction and who is scoring for Tottenham Hotspur. No one really cares for Newcastle. I mean, unless you say Trippier, but he's injured, so go on.
3-1 Spurs. And I'm going to go...
Okay.
I'm going to go Brennan Johnson. I'm going to go... Maddison and Bentancur for Spurs.
Solid. Take that all day.
All day long. Yeah. Wishful thinking, maybe, but let's see.
Go on, Matt. Chuck yours in.
I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs as well. I saw it earlier and I was like, that's a scoreline I like. So I'm going 3-1 Spurs as well.
So you thought, you know, I can't be bothered to come with a score prediction today, so I'm just going to steal Josh's off his Instagram. I get you.
Mate, I like the scoreline.
Did someone else predict 3-1? Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And I'm going Timo Werner, Heung-Min Son, and Hojbjerg.
4. Solid. That's yeah, no, I'm definitely going with a 3-1 score. I'm sure you guys on Instagram have already seen it. I'm going with a Sonny goal, a Brennan goal, and like another Mickey van der Ven goal. But look, so now going to Newcastle game, let's talk a little bit about our rivals here, and that is Aston Villa. Dan, what are your thoughts on Aston Villa this season and Champions League football? What's it looking like for us?
I think we'll be fine. I honestly think we'll be fine to finish for the top 4. I think they had a really good start to the season, but I think recently, especially, I think they've really struggled. I know they've got John McGinn back. I think he's back did he come back last Premier League game after getting sent off against us, or was it this weekend he's coming back? They've got Arsenal. I know they've got Arsenal, and Arsenal at home at the moment are just they're
straight red, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was a horrendous challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'd missed 3 games, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's up now. But I just think with Europe as well. I just think the challenge will be a bit too much for them. I really do. I think they're playing tonight, aren't they? Have they got their first leg of the next round tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
tonight.
That plays into our hands.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think their squad's overly that great. I don't think they've got much squad depth really.
No, Newcastle aren't playing tonight.
No, Villa.
Oh yes, sorry.
Yeah, they got Lille. They got Lille at home.
Yeah, Villa are playing Lille. Yeah, that helps us. I think though, over the next couple of weeks,
yeah,
we need to get ourselves like a 6-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've still got to play Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City.
And Chelsea.
Yeah, but
and Chelsea.
Chelsea, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, but care. Chelsea away, Chelsea will always turn up, no matter how bad of a season.
Sorry, we forgot to mention it's all in 7 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
All in the space of 7 days. It's absolutely mental. Can I ask you guys a more of a deeper question regarding
Man City isn't anymore. It's been moved to
yeah.
I meant Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal all in 7 days.
Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal are all in a week. Yeah.
Matt,
in all honesty, I do not care. I do not care if we lose to Liverpool and Chelsea as long as we beat Arsenal.
Okay. Well, this is nicely moving to my question here. It's a bit of a deep question. So, Matt, I'm going to come to you first with this. What, as you're a Tottenham fan, what for you is a successful season for Tottenham? Obviously, trophies once again is not going to happen. What is a successful?
Top 4.
Okay.
I think this season top 4. Next season we need to be pushing for a trophy.
Okay. Dan, what about yourself?
I think we've overachieved this year, to be honest. I really do. I think in the coming off of the back of last season and how bad it felt at the end of last season, to get anywhere close to where we are at the moment. I mean, without a couple of sort of dodgy results here and there, we'd be right in amongst it. Like it's been a season that I didn't expect a lot from, I think it's already a success. I think even if we finish 5th, I still think it would be a successful season. And you just got to build on it. You just have to see progression, and you have to see the next step.
At the moment, 5th is looking good enough to get us Champions League anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do think like we've overachieved. And I do also think that if we hadn't been hit with some major injuries, we'd also probably have another 5 or 6 points.
Well, this is the other thing. Like you talk about overachieving. I think we're overachieving for the squad that we've got in general. But to get to where we are at the moment with the injuries that we've had to key people. I mean, listen, we were just speaking before about Van de Ven. For me, he's been our player of the season, and he's not. We missed him for best part of 3 months.
Yeah,
and he's a key part. He's a key part to the whole thing. Like he's a key part to how we play.
I said to us all last season. Said to everyone I knew. I said, Newcastle for me, they were way ahead of their own trajectory. They were going up, and I said they were way ahead of schedule there. For me, the reason why I'm saying Tottenham, I wouldn't say we're ahead. I would say that we're in the right way, and the reason being is because Liverpool have not dropped off. Arsenal have not dropped off. Villa have certainly not dropped off. City have dropped off. But we're talking about one team out of the top 7 who's actually, maybe 2 if you want to say, City and Chelsea have actually dropped off this season compared to the top 7 teams. Last season, you had Chelsea.
City haven't dropped off that much. I mean...
No, I know. They haven't dropped off that much. But you still see, even when City drop off, Tottenham can't even capitalise on that. That City are miles ahead of Tottenham in where they are in the Premier League. That even when they drop off, they're still miles ahead of us. Now, look, be up to Luke McKenzie who's in the chat. Would you like me to remove my Van de Ven post and collab with you, mate? It's all good, don't worry. It's all good. Listen, lads, we're going now to a schedule where, like Matt said beforehand, look who's joined us. Look who decided to come 14 minutes late to the stream, where he did give us a 30-minute notice, but I don't think if you gave Ange Postecoglou a 30-minute notice to his team meeting, he'll be that happy. But you know what? Let's add Josh to the stage.
Josh.
Hello, lads. So, right, straight from work, can I just say? Straight through the door and straight upstairs, thank you. So, relax.
Woo, look at that white shirt.
Have you got your... Oh, no, you've got AirPods in.
Yeah, on one side, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like, he's wearing earrings.
I was like, has Josh had his ear pierced?
No, mate, I'm not.
And I was like, oh, no, luckily it's an AirPod.
Big up, Josh. Thanks for joining us once again. As you can probably see, my internet is absolutely crap today. Don't know why. So yeah, we're kind of just going with the flow today. We got special guest here, Dan, proper North London boy. So yeah, look, let's continue with the show. As we were talking about, we've got a big fixture list coming up with the likes of Arsenal, Newcastle on Saturday, I think it is, and Liverpool, so on. What is the what's the expectation our next, let's say 5 games, 5 games I've just mentioned. What's expectations? Josh, you can start.
Let me get them up. I need. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? It's such a horrible run. No, I'm looking at it now. I've got it here.
You can see it.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll bring it up for everyone as well.
Yeah, we've Newcastle has to be a bank of 3 points, doesn't it? Really, and I know it's horrible. And St James's Park is actually, it was a bogey ground before they got the takeover. But
can you see it, by the way, Josh?
I can't see it on our home screen, mate. No.
There we go. There we go, lads. You should see.
Yeah, there we go. So Newcastle has got to be the banker there. And then moving on, North London Derby, I do think we can get it done in the North London Derby. But that is going to be a horrible game. But it is our best. We can't let them get 3 points at our ground, especially if they go on to win it, which I don't even really want to say out loud, but we can't let them take anything away from that game, because we can't be held responsible for what happens after if they keep going.
I don't think I'd be too upset with a draw, but
I'd be fine with a draw, but I can't. I'd feel guilty. Even though I wouldn't be on the pitch, I'd feel guilty personally for letting them get anything towards this title race. Plus, I actually do think with the next couple that we've got, it is our best chance of points. Weirdly, I know they're top and everything, but Stamford Bridge, for me, is a write-off every year. I say it, if Chelsea were in League Two, I still wouldn't want to go to the Bridge. It's just a cursed ground for us. I think I've seen us win there twice in my life, as far as I can remember, memorably. It's ridiculous how bad our record is. And same for Anfield. Yeah. Every year for Anfield is absolutely cursed. I mean, last year summarised it, the Jota 4-3 last-minute winner after we equalised with the Richie header in the 90th. Yeah. They go up and score from kickoff. The year before that, I don't know if everyone remembers, Bergwijn missing those 2 sitters, those 2 1-on-1 sitters, and then we ended up going on to lose the game. And the year before that, we held on. I think it was Bobby Firmino scored a corner. Bobby Firmino with a header in the last minute. It just summarises our luck at Anfield is absolutely woeful. So I don't expect anything out of the Bridge or Anfield. And then Burnley is the only one that's guaranteed. That should be it. If we don't take full points against Burnley, then we don't deserve top 4, frankly, because Villa have just let us in this race so many times.
I think realistically, we should win 4 games, possibly lose 3.
Out of the whole running, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, I don't know. I do agree.
Dan, how many are we winning?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, 4. 4. I think 4 max really out of those. Sheffield United away. I went to the cup game last year, and that was probably one of the worst cup performances I've seen. So that you talk about cursed grounds. I went up there for the League Cup semi-final as well when we I think we actually lost on the night, but went through on away goals. I think that was that the case? No, we drew. We drew 2-all. We drew 2-all.
I'm not. I went to Sheffield United at home. Christ. I was going to say recently. I was going to say recently, but it wasn't. It must have been like 6 years ago now.
Yeah. That was the first leg of the semi-final of the League Cup. So we beat them 1-0, and it was a penalty, I think. And it was just like they're just a horrible team to play against. They'll be down by that point. Burnley would be down by that point as well.
So we played Sheffield United at home, and we were woeful. And I think the game ended 1-1
in the league.
In the league, yeah.
Oh right, okay.
It was in the league. It was a number of years ago.
I mean, if we go back to your question, if we, I think this Saturday really is a must-win when you look at it. When you look at the next few games afterwards, I just 100%. Think the way that Newcastle's injury list is, I just think the way they're playing. I know they had a good result at Fulham, but I just think you go there, you get a result, and then you come back for that North London derby 2 weeks later, and then 3 games in 7 days. I still don't understand how they can get away with this.
The fixture list this year has been absolutely woeful.
Yeah. And we keep getting. I remember there was a point where we didn't. I used to moan about not playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, especially at home. But then we had 3 games in a row. I think that were all 3 o'clock on a Saturday at home. But we've had some crazy kickoffs this year.
What is that? 2nd of May, 9:30. Can anyone sit at 9:30 against Chelsea? That is a joke.
That's the time difference, though, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I was going to say that we've had so ridiculously late kickoffs this year.
That would be 8:30.
7:30 UK time.
7:30 UK.
Mm-hmm. Look, lads. Look, I think for me personally, I'm going to try to be as optimistic as possible, but it's hard. I mean, Newcastle should be 3-pointer there. Arsenal, I'm going to keep it as like an unknown because it literally could be Arsenal beating the hell out of us, or it could be us completely smashing them. It's literally...
I've never wanted Tottenham to beat Arsenal more than that game.
Mate, Chelsea for me, I think is a clear loss. I think we need to write it off there. Same thing with Liverpool. So ideally, we were to win. We should beat Burnley, Sheffield. I'm going to say City, Newcastle. So that's 4. That's 4, and then Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool is really unknown. I mean, yeah. Anyone have anything else to add to that? Really?
I mean, surely with the way Villa are playing, 3 wins and a draw, I'd say is enough to get us Champions League here, just because of how many goals they're shipping and the way they're playing at the minute. And they've got a similarly sort of crap running. They're running.
Yeah, what's their running? I know they've got Arsenal this weekend, and I know they've got Liverpool at some point. Might even have Man United as well.
I think they do. I think they've got nearly as bad a running as us. It's not far off.
They've got a very poor run in here. They
haven't got Douglas Luiz for the next couple of weeks either.
And they've got European football still.
Yeah.
So yeah, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Brighton.
Look, you've got to say that one thing is for sure. They've got the definitely easier running for sure than us. But look, you never know.
They've still got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool to play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't fancy Chelsea going to there and getting anything though. Their home form's pretty good, Villa. Apart from us, apart from our weird result up there.
Yeah.
Where actually
can I ask you guys a question not really related to this match preview? I think it's something that's we really didn't talk much about on Spurs Live, and I'm actually very surprised that we did talk about it. It's weird because there's an interview that just came out with him. So I'm pretty sure if you all read it maybe, or if any of you actually saw the interview, Eric Dyer had an interview with what's his name, Gary Neville this week.
Gary Neville.
Talking about his time at Tottenham Hotspur and, how he enjoyed playing football under Conte, under Mourinho, and how he enjoyed the past 6 months. what are your thoughts on Eric Dyer in general for Tottenham? And do you feel sorry for him? By the way, us fans, I'm going to say us because I'm including myself. I didn't treat him nicely at all towards the end. But anyone have anything to say regarding that interview that he gave?
I've not seen it. I've not seen it. I know how much abuse he got. I mean, it was towards the end.
I haven't seen the interview. I liked Eric Dyer. I know that come the end, it got to a point where I was like, right, he's not good enough anymore. But all right, talking bit. No, like I know it got to a point where like he's not good enough anymore, but I liked Eric Dyer. He's been a good servant to the club. He was with us for what, 9 years?
10 almost.
I still remember him scoring that goal in his debut game.
Yeah, it was West Ham. Yeah, from right back. Yeah. No, I mean I've seen the interview. He's well spoken. It was nothing too crazy said in the interview. Just reflect on his time at Spurs. A lot about the Poch days. And because he obviously started, like it says there, as a DM for us. And he was actually, people forget how highly rated Eric Dyer was in that first sort of Poch team. You know, there was rumours of United going in with 40-50 million pound bids for him at defensive midfield, and us at the time we were thinking, no way, we can't let him get him or Dele. And that's important he was at that time before Wanyama and Dembele sort of shoved him out.
He was starting for the England team.
Yeah, I mean he scored that worldie of a free kick, didn't he, against Russia, in the international tournament, his debut tournament, and he's again, like Matt said, he's been a great example of just a decent level servant. He's not as bad as some people like to make out, and you know he hasn't obviously hit properly top level ability, I would ever say, but he was sort of just a consistent, same level as Davies, because they get put in the same bracket quite a lot, don't they? It's sometimes an 8 out of 10, 7, 8 out of 10, usually a sort of 5 or a 6, but just a decent career at Spurs and overall really good top level sort of career. I think people will look back on him hopefully a bit more favourably than they do now. He just stayed a bit too long. That's all it is. He just stayed a little bit too long.
I really like Davies. Davies. I think he's a fantastic player for us to have. Like he might not be a starter, but I think he's a fantastic player to have in the dressing room.
He's just consistent.
Yeah. He's a fantastic squad player, and I'm not going to lie. Right, when we lost Romero and Van de Ven, he actually did a great job.
He was really good. Yeah, he was really good.
He did a really good job deputising. Him and Emerson actually played pretty well in the central defensive roles.
Yeah.
And actually, Dyer did say how much he loved the 6 months under Ange this season. He just didn't. Ange just clearly didn't fancy him from a tactical perspective. Yeah, and it's fine. We said that before the season started. He just wasn't going to be fast enough to play in a high line. Because he's actually decent on the ball and he's fine going forward. But it's just, playing on the halfway line, he'd get killed.
In all honesty, if Dyer was to fit into an Ange system, I think he'd have to play as a 6.
Yeah, I don't think he should have ever moved from there. I just think if he'd have carried on playing there, I just think he would have had a far better reputation, definitely, because he was actually all right. He was all right on the ball as well. He wasn't and he was good in the opposition box. I mean, you talk about being uncomfortable. When we played Chelsea at home this year, and we played with 9 men, and he scored. I don't know if you remember it. He scored one that was disallowed for offside. And if that goes in, I mean, that is what a finish that is. He's obviously a technically good. He's just like you said, it's not in the system.
You talk about that free kick he scored for England. He's obviously got technique.
Look. Let's not pretend that we all love him and all that, because at times he was getting very, very frustrated. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. I was screaming at the screen every time he was starting for us. I'll be honest. I didn't like him that much. In the last 2 years of his, obviously I respected everything he's done for us, because as much as I don't like a player, if he's putting on a shirt and giving us his all, unlike some guy in his name Tanguy Ndombele, unlike him.
Put some respect on that man's name. Put some respect on that rather large man's name.
No,
And
look, I understand.
Oh my God. I don't think a footballer has ever upset me as much as Ndombele. Like,
and if you think about it, we've given Dyer and Ndombele similar much of hate because Dyer's put back that shirt on and given it 100% every single time, and then Ndombele's just gone to McDonald's eating a burger. That's the difference between two players. But another example, like you said, Matt, earlier, is Ben Davies. For me, Ben Davies is a player who I don't have that much hate towards, because I think he's a phenomenal player to have at Tottenham Hotspur. That player who can play left back, centre back, and can just fill in whenever we need. But let's just talk about one last talking point before we end the show, and that is the summer business. We did put out a video earlier today regarding Amadou Onana. And why I believe Tottenham Hotspur should sign him. Dan, let me come to you first. DM, centre backs, attacking, the striker, really. Those are the three positions that I've really talked about. Also right wing, kind of. Dan, who would you, if you don't have a player in mind, don't worry, but what position would you want to fill in this summer, or do you think needs an extra improvement?
Yeah, I think the holding midfield, because I think Hojberg's going to go. I think he's made it quite clear that he wants to go. So probably one or two in that holding role. I don't know what Skippy's doing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he'll move on to go and play more games somewhere else. I feel like centre forward is just gonna be a necessity. I like Richarlison and I like what he gives us sometimes. He's been miles better since he came back from the operation on his hip or whatever it was, and obviously it's come out that he was going through some like he was in a really dark place, in a really dark place. And to be fair to him, since he's come back in and he's been fit, he was scoring goals, and he gives us something which we don't have, and that's an aerial threat in the box. I feel like he's the one, he's the guy. If teams are gonna stop that kind of cross across the 6-yard box that we were talking about earlier, that we've been so successful from, I feel like he gives us a bit of a plan B where you can just sort of stand the ball up and let him attack it. But I do think we need another one. I feel like we need, if we're going to really push on, I feel like we need another centre forward. I hope we keep Timo Werner, because I think he's been, I think he's absolutely fine for the system. I think he knows the league. He's come in and he's scored and assisted. You can't really ask for more. I know he's a bit inconsistent sometimes with his finishing, but I just think keep him around. And then cover at centre back, maybe a right back as well if Emerson goes. There's talk about Emerson going. Or to be honest, I'd prefer a left back over a right back. I just think behind Udogie, if we lose Udogie, I just think we're far weaker. Whereas if we lose Porro and Emerson comes in, we do look a little bit, there's a bit of a drop off, but there isn't that much of a drop off.
We lose an attacking threat. We lose an attacking threat, but he's still sure enough defensively. I think we need another wing back.
Probably.
Yeah, we need another left back. I'd quite like to see what are the brothers? Theo and
Hernandez. Mate, there's no chance of us getting one of them at the club. Jesus Christ.
There's no chance of me playing at Tottenham with them.
Are you mental to not even start either?
I'd love to see us with one of them. Or Benjamin Pavard. I wouldn't mind Pavard. But I don't think it's going to happen. But no, I think we need another wing back. I think we need... I think the two key positions for us are 6 and wing. I think we need a world-class winger. Timo Werner's all right. I think he's a decent player to have in the squad, especially for 15 million. I think it's worthwhile. But I just want a world-class winger, a pacey winger that beats his man, gets to the byline, beats his man. That's what I want. We've missed it for years.
You just described Timo Werner, by the way.
I think he's been excellent. I think he's actually a
I
little
think
bit
he's so
underrated
good.
how good he's
Yeah,
been.
so do I.
Because even when we look bad, he still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's really stepped up in the last few games, and he just gets the system so well.
I expected him to come in and honestly just show flashes and not really be involved at all. He has hit the ground running, like properly hit the ground running. Yeah. I like him. I really do.
I said 5 goal contributions would have been enough for me, and he's absolutely smashed that already. I think he's been fantastic. Yeah. But to answer your question, Josh, I think 6 has got to be the priority because it's the one position I think Ange can't decide on. You know, 1 week it's Biss, 1 week it's Bentancur, 1 week it's maybe Hojberg, another week it's Skip. And Amadou Onana, we mentioned him before. Paul O'Keefe ended up giving the revelation that we are interested. What he brings as well is aerial dominance. And I think that's one thing that us as a team lacking a little bit is aerial dominance. I mean, even though he's 6'4", it's the one thing I always say about Van de Ven. He actually doesn't win a lot of headers. You know, he sort of likes to just let the ball drop, and because he knows he's so fast that it doesn't really matter. There's no one that can beat him to it after it drops. Corners, it's us conceding corners is akin to a penalty basically, because our marking and our aerial dominance is so poor. When you look throughout the team, you've got Timo, Son, and Johnson. They're not going to win a header. And then you've got Maddison. Sarr doesn't really dominate in the air either. And then Biss is, other than Romero, I can't name a player. And Udogie's actually been all right from corners recently, but I can't name a player other than Romero and maybe Udogie that are strong in the air.
I think when Dragusin played, I actually think that was probably one of his strengths, especially defending corners and stuff. I felt like that Fulham game, he looked all right in the air, but obviously you're not going to start him. So you need someone else.
Yeah, from a defensive perspective. I think also a winger as well. It's got to be a winger.
I believe that these players that we're talking about a couple of years ago, Hincapie was more of a wow. It was more of a big player name. I think we need to do some more smart business, not big players. For that number 6, I do agree with Matt and Josh there. Last live stream, Dan, we were talking about the number 6 role, and they were saying how they would rather have a more of a well-known player than have someone young. And I personally think Onana is perfect for that. Problem for me with Onana is that he'll be getting much more pressure on the ball, and he usually passes the ball backwards instead of wiggling it out. So that's a little bit of a problem for me. But look, lads, this has been a Newcastle versus Tottenham Hotspur match preview. The game is on Saturday. I'm hoping we are going to smash Newcastle. Josh, I'm going to come to you in a second. Dan said a 3-1 Tottenham Hotspur win. Matt, you're on mute. Matt said 3-1.
3-1 as well.
3-1 as well.
Yeah, Matt was the one who actually checked his Instagram, checked what I predicted, and said, "Well, okay, nice one." And Josh, you're going for what prediction again?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. I reckon it'll be tight, but if anyone's got a bet builder going on the weekends, Spurs, both teams to score is it's the biggest banker you can find in football with both teams.
All season at home. All season at home.
It's the absolute banker. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. But I do think we'll get it done simply because Newcastle have just been ravaged with injuries. Bless them. Like I do feel for them a little bit, and I know they've had a couple decent results like that comeback against West Ham. But if you look at any Newcastle fan online, they'll tell you it was horrible, and the performances recently have been horrible. They're just limping by. So I think we'll get it done.
Awesome. So 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, and 2-1. This has been Spurs Live. We are here. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. Instagram people, thank you so much for joining us today. Next time, head over to YouTube and you guys can catch us live and comment like Talking Beers. Big up to everyone who's been joined with us. And yeah, we will see you in the next live stream. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. Thanks very much for having me.
Cheers, Dan.